What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I am super excited about today's topic, but before we get into the video, I just want to say I apologize if you hear any background noise. There is still construction going on at the house right next door to me, so if you're able to hear some of that background construction, I apologize. Nothing I can do, but the show must go on and these videos must still be filmed. So just jumping straight into it, as you guys can tell by the title of the video, we are going to be talking about how I have been able to maintain my weight loss. A lot of people, especially on Twitter and a lot of social media, have been asking me recently, what is it that's different about you? Like, why have you been able to keep the weight off, and then it seems like other people will lose some weight and then it seems like they gain it all back? So hopefully today's video will give you some insight into how I've been able to do that, and then hopefully you'll be able to do the same thing. So I've got my list. Now let's just get into the video. Point number one is I have done my best to understand why and how I am losing weight and also how I am gaining weight. So something that I talk about a lot is knowledge is power, especially when it comes for weight loss. A lot of people will start to lose weight and they do some crash diet or they do some crazy diet, but they don't really understand why it is they're losing the weight that they are losing. So they're kind of just hoping that it keeps working and hoping that it keeps working, and then you can do a diet like that and lose a lot of weight. Like you could do, I don't know, Jenny Craig or whatever all of these weight loss systems are, right? You can do those and lose a ton of weight, but you'll end up hitting a sticking point. And if you don't understand, like, why am I losing the weight, i.e. like how many calories have I been eating, you know, what is my TDE, if you don't understand all of these little points, you won't know what to manipulate to continue the weight loss. So to sum up the final point, like, I've just done my best to understand why everything is happening and how it's happening, because if you know more, you'll be able to make better decisions, more informed decisions. So that is why that is my number one point. Point number two, this one might seem kind of obvious, but it is very, very important when it comes to maintaining weight loss, is you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Because if you're lying to yourself about how many calories you're eating or how hard you might be working in the gym, the only person that you're lying to is yourself. So if you're getting super frustrated and you're like, man, why is it that I'm gaining a little bit of weight, or why is it that I'm not able to, you know, lose this last 5 pounds? If you know that you're kind of, you know, adding a little bit more snacks and like maybe eating a little bit more than you're putting into, you know, maybe you're tracking your food in MyFitnessPal, maybe you're not putting in that last little snack that you have at night, because it's not that many calories. Like, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You can't lie, because like I said, the only person that you're hurting when you're lying is yourself. So you gotta be honest. Point number three is that I noticed my bad habits and then I did my best to try and change them. So what I mean by that is, when I say bad habit, like what I really struggled with when I first started losing weight and like got down, you know, under 200 pounds for the first time, I started really struggling with binge eating. And when I say binge eating, basically what I would do was I would eat a really, really low amount of calories throughout the week for maybe about 4 or 5 days, and I would do really well. When I say low, I mean like really low amount of calories, but then I would end up binging and just eating a ton of food on the 4th or 5th day, because my body couldn't handle that anymore. And that was something that was really, really tough. Like I said, I can make I already have made whole videos about this, but it started becoming something like I started being afraid of maybe even gaining a good amount of my weight back, because I was struggling with this binge eating so bad, and it felt like I just felt like I was trapped. I noticed that was something that I was going through. I noticed that was something that I was struggling with, so I did my best to fix it. I looked up videos. When I was first struggling with binge eating, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I didn't understand that there was a name for that, you know, disorder. I just didn't know that. So I was like trying to figure out what is it that's going on with me, and then I find out there's actually a lot of people that are dealing with this, especially a lot of people that have lost a lot of weight. You end up developing this. So I did my best to, you know, correct that issue that I was struggling with. Now, again, like I said, I can make a whole video on how I got out of binge eating, and I'm pretty sure I already have made videos about it, but I did my best to try and, you know, find out that issue that I was struggling with and did my best to fix it. And, you know, that's another reason why I don't think I'll ever go back to being 360 pounds. Point number four is one that is kind of interesting. Some people might be able to relate to it, but I had to understand that I will not always be trying to lose weight. And that might sound silly, but if you're someone that comes from how big I was, 360 pounds, the thought of not trying to cut calories, the thought of not trying to be on a diet and try and be restricting all the time is a very weird feeling when you first lose your weight. But there came a time where I pretty much lost as much weight as I could, and I couldn't go any further unless I, you know, started being unhealthy and maybe developing some other issues down the road. But like, I had to find out that there's a point where I don't need to lose weight anymore. Now, when you hit that point, where do you go? that's really hard. Trying to decide how many calories should I how many more calories should I be eating throughout a day? What should I change? Should I maybe, cut back on the cardio because I'm doing like an hour and a half of cardio every day? Like, those are all things, again, this video can be split into so many videos. I could totally talk about that if you guys want me to, but that was something that was really important, because the reason that I say that is if you're able to realize that there's gonna be a point where you are gonna have to stop losing weight, right? You're not gonna be losing weight for the rest of your life. You will be able to make better decisions when you get there, because a lot of people, they get there and they decide, I still need to lose weight, I still need to lose weight, and you end up developing some really tough stuff that's really hard to deal with. Make sure you decide that you understand that you're not gonna be losing weight for the rest of your life, and do your best to make the best decisions possible when you get there. Point number 5, I'm going to use a word that is definitely overused in the fitness industry now, but I feel like it's the best word to convey the point that I'm trying to convey to you guys. So I was able to find balance, that's the word right there, with my diet. When I say balance, the reason that I say that is because the less that you're stressed out about eating, the less that you're stressed out about your diet, the less that you're always struggling and always focused on food, right? You become really food focused when you're losing weight, the better I feel like you'll be able to do in the long run, because you'll understand that, yes, I can have maybe one cupcake every once in a while. It's not the end of the world. It's not gonna make me gain 30 pounds right away, right? Having one cupcake. And that was something that was incredibly difficult for me to understand. Like, you guys have heard me talk about it a ton of times. My relationship with food was the last and final and hardest battle that I had to fight with losing weight and with maintaining weight loss, because food starts to turn into the enemy when you're losing weight, when you do it in an unhealthy way, right? You start to get really afraid of food, but in reality, food is it's necessary for life. We need it to survive. And when you're losing a lot of weight, you start to think, okay, I don't want to say you, I started to be afraid of food. And in my head, every time I would eat, I honestly, like, this is kind of, crazy to say, but it's very true. Like, every time I would eat, I felt like I was failing. Like, if I felt like I was full, I felt like I did something wrong. And that's not how it should be. So, finding balance with food, and like I said, all of these points are huge, massive points that can be a whole video on their own, but finding balance with food and trying to understand that you can have little treats every once in a while, but as long as your diet is mainly good and you're under your calories where you need to be, you're not gonna gain a bunch of weight, and you just have to keep hammering that into your head. It's one of those things that takes a very long time. It's not gonna happen overnight, but it is so worth doing your best to try and find balance with food. Point number 6, last but not least, one that you guys can obviously tell by the channel, is that I have fallen in love with fitness. The reason that I say falling in love with fitness is because I know a lot of you guys probably don't like doing bodybuilding, don't like doing CrossFit, but whatever you're able to find enjoyment out of, whether it's rowing or running or biking, whatever that might be, when you really think of your body as more than just something that you're living in, when you think of it as like a machine and something that like you use to get better at throwing, to get better at whatever it might be, you will want to do better. You will want to eat the right food. You will want to fuel yourself correctly, because you'll want to progress, right? Like, I want to progress so bad that it makes eating healthy, and it makes eating right, and it makes doing all the things that are necessary to do that, it makes it so much more enjoyable, because I have goals that aren't even at all related to my weight loss. Like, they're so completely separated from that, but they are kind of connected in the same way, right? Because if I want to get faster and stuff, I'm gonna need to be a little bit more lean, or at least not like be eating cheeseburgers all the time and like feeling like garbage, right? So if you're able to find fitness, and like I said, it could even be walking, like just something that you're able to find, it will make maintaining weight loss so much easier, but I honestly think it's more enjoyable. Like, I enjoy being able to go into the gym and feeling really good when I'm lifting, or feeling really good when I'm doing runs and stuff like that. Like, I can't explain that. So I could not put this on the list. So there you guys go, a super quick list, and I know there's probably a ton of stuff that I missed, but as always, if you guys have lost a lot of weight, or if you're losing weight, or if you have any tips that you might have that could be helpful for somebody watching this video, please leave that down in the comment section down below. You guys, I really feel like I have some of the best comment sections on YouTube, because you guys are so helpful and so supportive of everyone down there. Like, it really does warm my heart, and I hope that that's able to continue in this video. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, I just appreciate you guys so much. So again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look up a fam!
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.